Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for your ROH TNA post show for Thursday, December 5th. We're so excited that you could join us to talk some ROH as we're on the road to Final Battle. Earlier today, this was what I did, okay? I did a BattleBots watch log. I was unreasonably excited about it. I love BattleBots so much. It's the best fed that's out there. Okay, you can have your AEWs, your WWEs, you can have your New Japan. Give me some fighting robots, and I'm the happiest girl in the world. Okay, but I watched that, and I headed over to SP3 on True Heel Heat, and I was like, see, this is what happens when you don't run from the grind. I'm streaming SP3, streaming. We break for a meal and some returns at Kohl's and Walmart if you're me. And then we're right back at this game today. SP3, how are you? Happy holidays. What's going on?
Happy holidays, Cade. Yes, I am here. We're here to discuss some Ring of Honor. What a time. What a time to be alive with a Final Battle pay-per-view main event that was the third match on the card on an episode of Monday Night Raw back in 2012.
Let's start with that. We've been kind of switching up, or when I've been hosting with Shawn's blessing here, I've been kind of switching up the way we do some reviews, and I think it's actually most important on this one to just kind of lead with the most noteworthy stuff, and then we'll recap everything and talk some matches and some stories. But let's dive right into this, because this is what happens with me with NXT as well. I have people that don't watch the week to week, that watch the PLEs, and say, oh, no, this is awesome. Because if you watch the PLEs, yeah, that's great. And they see Jericho versus Matt Cardona, and they think, what a marquee match. And I say, it sucks! Neither guy is on the show, and the title for this promotion is on the line with two guys who never show up on the show and feel... God bless them both, okay? Matt Cardona has reinvented himself on the indies. He has completely revolutionized what you can do to maximize your potential on what it means to be somebody that leaves a TV promotion and goes to the independents. He's making more money doing that than he was on television. And he isn't just on some run because he had some momentum coming out of television, right? I respect the hell out of that. And I respect what Chris Jericho has done for pro wrestling for the past decades. This is the most anti-ROH feeling match if you're a fan of the actual promotion and you watch the week-to-week stuff. Not only because they're not on the show, as far as the entire spectrum of pro wrestling, and it is wide and there is value in all of it, ROH was built on the spirit of in-ring competition. Like, it's as close to a blend of American and Japanese and European style as you can get. There's physical and mental chess like you get in Europe. There's struggle through sport like you get in Japan. And then there's American moral storytelling. Those are not defined by me. Those are defined by Chris Hero, who I think has figured something out about this business. Okay? What was great about ROH and what was a standout about ROH is it was built off of stories that were told in the ring and off of wins and losses. You can't tell those stories if you're not on the show. Quite frankly, this is more of a build than we get sometimes because they were both here. But like, there are so many strengths that Matt Cardona has. He's not like, when I think of him, the first thing that jumps off the page is not like his in-ring is the most outstanding thing about him. And Jericho at this phase of his career, I'm sorry. Like, when I watched him in Hook, I just watched him like sandbag all of Hook's suplexes because he can't jump anymore because he's not good at this anymore as far as the in-ring goes. And they've done a good job compensating for that with plunder matches. And I thought the stuff with Mark Briscoe was, to me, it reads like if you're a pitcher that was a fastball pitcher for a long time and now you have to become a finesse pitcher because you lost 5 miles an hour on your fastball, you have to switch the game up. That's what you got to do when you're in the phase of the career that Chris Jericho's at. But it feels so anti the spirit of what ROH is supposed to be. And I swear to God, if this goes on last instead of Athena, I'm leaving early if I go. I will be apoplectic. And I'm going to say this to sound dramatic, even though it's not true, because my family holiday party's that weekend. So I'm just going to dramatically say, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be there anymore. Because it's true, but it's not because of this. But I feel like as a white girl, I get to be dramatic. So I feel like it's so disappointing. It's just a slap in the face to the people that are on this roster. I feel like I say that every week. Yeah. It does sound like TV is coming. Maybe Matt Cardona is being scouted for that. I don't know. But I'm sorry. They're both great wrestlers. I appreciate what they both have done. I couldn't give less of a crap about this. I really don't. And whether you want to hypothesize on whether it's some make good with GCW or whatever, to be perfectly honest, we're out of the swear jar window, right? I don't give a shit about whether AEW and GCW like each other or not. I don't care. I don't care if Effie thinks Tony Khan stinks. And I don't care if Tony Khan thinks Effie smells. I don't want it determining ROH pay-per-view world championship matches. I don't care. I really don't. If this is because Ricky Starkz got pulled and they're doing some make good with Cardona, I don't care. I'm not going to GCW at Hammerstein this year. I don't care. Like, I really don't care about the relationship between AEW and GCW. I care, and I really don't care about how that shows up on ROH. I couldn't care less about that. This sucks. I'm sorry. And I understand that there are people that are excited about it, and I say be excited about whatever you want to be excited about in wrestling. That's awesome. But as someone that watches and reviews this show every week, and of all the chances that this promotion under Tony Khan's umbrella has had a chance to make rising stars, why the hell is Shane Taylor calling for title shots he's just never going to get? Why are they losing tonight after calling out the trios champions? Why? I've been told injured Von Erich is out 6 months. I wasn't told that by Shawn. So just confirming that's not a report. But from someone I definitely trust. What is going on? And it's so frustrating because SB3, there was stuff on here that I was so excited about. Trish Adora getting to wrestle and win.
I was like, they're trying to make up to Kate because they got to do this segment later. They was like, hey, we're going to throw you a bone. So yeah, there was stuff that I knew you did enjoy on this show.
They gave me one of my favorite throwback matches that we've ever gotten to see. So that was rad.
I was there live for that.
I knew you were, USOV. I knew you were. But there's good stuff on the show. Rachael Ellering and Harley Cameron, as an odd couple duo, sign me up for the rest of my life. Like, I am so in with that. But then we get to the main event, and there's a tag team that basically broke up in the Diamond Dozen Battle Royal yesterday, defeating Shane Taylor Promotions. Like, the thing that frustrates me about this is it feels like what happens with the women's division in AEW and just what happens in wrestling in general, where it's like, I just feel like they don't care. That's how it reads. Because the things are so simple and fixable that if you cared even the smallest bit, just the smallest bit, half of the show would be so much better. So much better. Ian Riccaboni, God bless him today, said about the Dark Order, I don't know. It's hard for us to know because the Dark Order can't choose between, acting with respect and listening to the devil on their shoulder. They are flat out not telling that story. They're just booked like shit. And Ian Riccaboni is trying to cover their tracks as beautifully as possible. Like, it's such a disappointment. It's such a disappointment. So, what are your thoughts on Jericho and Cardona? Do you care that AEW and GCW work together? Like, it doesn't mean anything to me if these children with money fix their problems or don't. Like, I don't care.
What do I care other than making content? I mean, it was good for last week for my podcast to talk about Ricky Starkz being in the middle of a AEW GCW war. But I think my good friend Jimmy Macaram says it best: Big Bank always beats Little Bank. WWE will do that to AEW and any other company. AEW is trying to do it to GCW. If they make good, who cares? Does it really affect what I'm watching? No. Other than this not making a whole bunch of sense. And it's not the fact that this is Final Battle, the biggest Ring of Honor pay-per-view of the year historically. It's not the fact that this is Ring of Honor's return to the Hammerstein Ballroom for the first time in 5 years. You know, that same building that had such great Ring of Honor World Championship main event matches as Bryan Danielson versus Kenta, Kevin Steen versus El Generico, Tyler Black versus Roderick Strong, and now we got Chris Jericho versus Matt Cardona.
Not just Chris Jericho, 50-year-old Chris Jericho.
50 in 2024.
Yeah.
In 2024, we got Chris Jericho. And look, that's the thing. Because I think that, people might, come in like the middle of your rant and be like, oh, this is just directed at Jericho and Cardona. No, I feel like a lot of this is directed at Chris Jericho. Because I 100% think that Matt Cardona versus Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor World Championship, that sounds like a Hammerstein Ballroom main event. Because Cardona can play the role of the invader heel that's coming in, who's different from everything in Ring of Honor.
Can he be on the show for 3 weeks first? That's all. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm actually okay with a guest star. It's it's Final Battle. It's Hammerstein Ballroom.
Here's why I'm not.
I'm not okay with it being Jericho, who he's against. Because Jericho is so not Ring of Honor. There's no one who represents Ring of Honor in this matchup on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
I think the reason I'm not okay with the guest star thing is because we do that with this world title all the time. It's just someone from the AEW main roster instead of ROH. How is ROH supposed to feel like its own product if you just keep, for the world title, having a world champion who's never on the show until right before the pay-per-view, and he faces someone that's never on the show? Ever. They've never had a title handoff that has gone to someone that is predominantly on the ROH roster since this was taken over. It's ridiculous. How are you supposed to make new stars? How are you supposed to make new stars on AEW television if your hybrid developmental program doesn't have a men's singles division that makes any sense? How is Shane Taylor, who has such a fantastically high ceiling and the potential of someone with a stick like Eddie Kingston, will make you care about anything and feel real? You don't call him during a natural disaster, he's going to bring it into a promo and he's going to make you cry about it. He has that natural ability. No, he's going to call out for 2 title shots and we're just going to not give him either. What are we doing? Ridiculous. I understand what you're saying. Like, biggest show of the year, getting a marquee name is cool. If it was Mark Briscoe versus Cardona, I'd be more warm to it. But think of literally anything else to do with this world championship than have somebody who's not on the show face the guy. Like, that's it. That's the only play they've run in the 3 years that this has been under the Tony Khan umbrella. It's ridiculous.
They've only had one really kind of feud for two, I guess you can say, is Jericho and Claudio, and then Claudio and Eddie Kingston. Those are the only really 2 feuds that they've had for the Ring of Honor World Title in the 2 years that he's had this. I feel like the whole plan for ROH, I didn't get it from the beginning. I got told by people that, they're gonna treat it like Dark for a year and a half or 2 years before they make it like a real developmental, and I'm still not seeing that vision. It seems like they're just gonna be random matches and it's gonna go nowhere, and I don't have that light at the end of the tunnel. I know the light at the end of the tunnel is they're gonna get TV, but if we're still gonna be on the same cycle of 3 pay-per-views a year, you only care about the pay-per-views 2 to 3 weeks out. You start building matches at that point. You announce the event 3 weeks out. It's very weird. It just feels like an afterthought the way it's booked and treated, and it's not good.
I think TV will help because I think it would force the hand of a dedicated creative team. I could also see them not being a touring promotion if they became TV. I could very much see them going the studio setup, and they are always better in that case.
Yes.
I think we were close with another world title feud, but Mark Briscoe getting injured the first time around kind of messed things up. Like, I think we were getting close to that, but it has been a very, very dry well. Very, very dry well. And we know they're capable of doing it because they do it on the women's side. Why they just choose to not do it on the men's side is weird to me, but not great, guys.
I forgot Mark Briscoe and Chris Jericho. That's technically a feud too. So 2 of the 3 has been Chris Jericho.
Probably my favorite Jericho matches, honestly, since he's been doing the learning tree stuff. Like, to be for real, like, man, it's just so disheartening when it feels like the spirit of ROH has been so abandoned. Like, it bums me out that this is like, if this promotion was just a mess and not under the letters of my favorite promotion, I wouldn't care like nearly as much as I do. But right now, with the wrestling space being so oversaturated, what ROH actually is supposed to be and offered, would be a real palate cleanser. But the other thing is, I'm not super in love with the AEW product right now. So the idea of ROH getting its own TV makes me a little nervous. And the idea of Shockwave possibly coming makes me nervous. Like, I'm not confident. I'm confident if there's a whole creative team and maybe loosening of the reins a little bit, like it could go somewhere in the right direction, but it needs to happen.
I'm all for taking breaks. I was one of the first podcasters who was like, Chris Jericho needed to take a break like last year. And I'm going to be one of the first, or I think I'm not the first because I think I've heard a couple of people say this, but Tony Khan needs a break. I think that all bookers need a break. They need to take a couple of months off, get away, pass the reins to somebody else, and then you can come back. You can come back refreshed with new ideas, but you just need to take a break. I understand that asking you to just step away completely is a far-fetched thing, but I think it's more realistic and more likely to just ask to take a break. Just take a few months.
Well, I think that's not happening during C2 season for sure, because that guy loves his.
I mean, it's already booked. It's already booked. He books it.
We hope so. We hope so. Injuries happen, as we saw, right? So,
they just said, hey, you know what? Juice is gonna lose a bunch of these matches. Who can lose a bunch of these matches? Commander. There you go.
Juice was gonna lose out or pick up like one win or a draw. We'll have Commander do the same thing. So, I don't know, man. Those guys who couldn't manage a Target should book the show. Let's see if somebody who works at Target can book a wrestling show. We know it can't go the other way. Why not see if this, right? If the forbidden door is truly open, SP3.
It should swing both ways. It should
go, you know what? I'm sure like Jeff, who's just trying to manage his Target during the holiday season and is exhausted, would be like, you know what? Let me take a swing at booking some pro wrestling. Let's see what happens. Why not? Why not? Guys, we are coming in hot on ROH Final Battle. Get in your super chats. Please leave a thumbs up on this video and please subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. It is a good week to be a Fightful Select subscriber. We were just talking a little CM Punk-ish. We were mostly talking about Target, but a little CM Punk adjacent. We did see an unfortunate report that went up about Ryan Nemeth and some of the reporting protocol that did or didn't happen via AEW regarding CM Punk's behavior. Don't auto-complete the details in your head and start making it about CM Punk. It's much more about Nick Nemeth and the way that AEW did and didn't handle that. So there's something you are going to want to read the details of. This is one of them. Some stuff you can get headlines from, and I get it. You don't necessarily need to pay for that. So-and-so signed at this place. We appreciate the support on those stories because it's how we get paid. But like, this is one that you're going to want the details of. Clarity around Penta and Ray Phoenix's contract status is up. Mostly that Penta is gone, but you can read about the details of Ray Phoenix and some injury news that was posted earlier today on Jade Cargill. Still a little hazy, but it does seem like a legit injury. So you're going to want to read about that on Fightful Select as well. And also about Hologram. I really thought Harley Cameron and Harley Graham and Hologram were all the same wrestler, to be honest. So,
Harley Cameron is not Harley Graham. I just want to get the people are confused. I don't think
yeah, Shawn's still
not-
working on that one, I think. So
Yeah.
we're gonna get to the bottom of all that. But subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. Plenty more to come. More contract news on the way as well. So head over to FightfulSelect.com. I do want to shout out a few things. One, we very quickly went from 119,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube to 121,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you. We were like hovering around that 120,000 mark. And then 2 days later, we were at 121,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for that. Over 17,000 Patreon Fightful Select subscribers combined between our free tier and our paid tier. So just an overwhelming amount of support. I am so thankful. I say all the time that I get to ride Shawn's coattails because it really is all in the back of Shawn's reporting what we get to do here. So just very appreciative of that, especially around the holidays. We appreciate that support. Also on Fightful Select, if you want to participate in voting for the Fightful Awards, that is a subscriber-specific privilege. So it helps us keep some of the riffraff out of like, Kenny Omega is God or Roman Reigns forever. Can't just like vote all for their favorite promotion. You gotta be a little more nuanced than that. Get behind the paywall. But we appreciate that, and we're gonna have some fun awards this year. Working on some fun stuff. So let's finally dig in to this episode of ROH. We start off with your New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Champions, Grizzled Young Vets. They're just they're picking on people for eating cake, which just feels wrong, man. What's wrong with eating cake?
Taking food off his family's table. That could have been something for his daughter. How dare he?
You are the New Japan Strong Tag Champions now, okay? You took them from my guys. You took them from Shane and you took them from Mikey. You want to talk about taking things off of people's tables? You dethroned my TMDK, okay?
They should have held on to them. They should have held on to them tighter.
World Tag League is happening right now. I can only pray, okay? But first, you're being mean to TMDK, who are like my faves, and now, what's so wrong with eating cake? Let them eat cake. A very famous phrase from a very famous woman in history, okay? Come on. Why can't backstage hands eat cake? I think that's rude.
I think that cake is reserved for the grizzled young veterans, and I think that they were right to admonish them. They are the locker room police, and I respect their badge.
I don't think cake is something that's very grizzled. I think that's very delicate and beautiful and delicious.
Yes, so it should go to those people who are grizzled on the outside, so it can affect them more on the inside.
I feel like we should appreciate our backstage hands more and they should be allowed to eat cake. That's just me. But look, we don't have to agree on everything here, SP3. I'm just saying. First, they come for Shane and Mikey, and now they're coming for backstage hands. Rude. But what I am excited is to see GYV put on a track instead of losing to the Outrunners for no reason. And I am very excited to see this continual crossover with New Japan Strong. Been pushing for that. I hope it continues because these two brands could benefit a lot from each other because I feel like the presentation should be kind of mirrored a little bit, and New Japan Strong doesn't have weekly television, and ROH does. So I think ROH talent showing up on some New Japan Strong cards could be really excellent, and I think the talent exchange of New Japan Strong talent showing up here could be something that's really cool, and in GYV's case, they overlap. So not mad about that at all. Especially in the tag picture because all of our tag and multi-man title picture is just like held hostage by Dustin Rhodes, basically.
Just in one house, in one Van Erich. That's all it ever sees. Damn shame.
GYV made Shane Hayes cry. We didn't see it, but I'm assuming it happened. I bet it did too. And Shane, just let Shane twerk and do like, really cool drop kicks and Olivia Newton bombs. That's all I want. But Shane Monster saying TMDK SP3 Mile Island. Want to know how much TK cares about ROH? Look how often he posts about it. Bleak caring, Athena mains, or we riot. I am kind of confident that Athena will main. Like I can't I don't even know if she's going to lose. I think they might save that for TV. I think this Wrestle Dynasty stuff might throw a wrinkle in all of that. But I think she main events Final Battle because they've let her do it before. This is their biggest pay-per-view, and it might be the most crucial match in her reign, really. Certainly the one of the past year or so. Are you optimistic about that? I think we could get a co-main event where the guys go on first, or Jericho and Cardona could open this up.
Yeah, I think they probably booked this as a double main event. Watching this episode, I was like, they're definitely probably going to make the announcement for Athena's matchup on next week's show, considering we got the International Women's Cup qualifier that week. I feel like that match is going to set up that Ring of Honor Women's World Title matchup, and Athena has the main event. I mean, the Ring of Honor pay-per-views are always great when Athena main events, so it's only right, and especially with the return to Hammerstein Ballroom and how important Athena has been as the face of this brand, I think she deserves that honor.
I agree. And since we're talking about main events, we might as well talk about the main event players as well. Very happy to have them sponsoring the show. Just a really, really great, genuine group of guys in the content creation space. We always appreciate when they support us, and we want to throw that love right back at them. We're going to have Sean Ross Sapp tell you a little bit more about them, but check out a lot of the fantasy booking stuff they do and the eFed work that they do. Really, really fun stuff, but it's such a crowded space, and sometimes it's tough to find just really genuine voices that you connect with. These guys are good ones.
Hey guys, I want to tell you all about the Main Event Players, a group of content creators who have banded together to change the game. They've got their Outside the Brand podcast on YouTube where they give weekly previews and predictions for wrestling and sports. I've got my notifications turned on, so whenever they go live, I get that notification on my phone. It makes it so easy. Great dudes, lots of charisma, just a great feel when you watch their show. And something else that I really liked, they do eFed stuff as well, which was a big passion of mine. So I really want you guys to check that out. Also, the Wrestling Room podcast on Spotify. A great concept. A wrestling couple takes their everyday conversations and records them for the world to hear. Something a little bit different than what you're used to. And if you want something new, you want something fresh, you want something different, check out the Main Event Players. Check out the Outside the Brand podcast. Check out the Wrestling Room podcast. YouTube, Spotify, they're all over the place. I'm stumbling all over my words talking about how all over the place they are. Check them out, the Main Event Players.
See, this is why I had to go corner the market on BattleBots watch-alongs, because they're doing such better work than I could ever even attempt to be doing with eFed stuff, and they really are. They're a really refreshing voice in this space, but check them out. It's always the best when we have people that feel like being associated with Fightful is going to be beneficial to them in some way, and it's just very much appreciated that they chose to support us, that they chose to support this show. They know there's sickos watching if you're tuning into an ROH post show, and that they're going to be like real fans. So go give some real fan ears to what they're doing as we move along in this ROH episode. We do have our first match of the night here with Shibata and Alex Reynolds. Evil Uno at ringside here. Katsuyori Shibata, I wrote down that he won with the penalty kick, but did he actually won with the octopus dress, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just so used to the PK, I guess, but I liked him winning with the octopus stretch here. And I also really love that Alex Reynolds got to show out what he's capable of. Like a lot of times when we've seen the Dark Order, multi-man matches are great. I love him and Silver as a tag team. I actually wish they would get a proper push in that way. But with someone like Shibata, it just pulled out a different side than we usually get to see with Reynolds. A lot of times it's him kind of working in support or in complement to what John Silver's doing. And he just kind of got to show out here and get back to some more pure wrestling roots than we normally get to see from him. And it was a really, really nice showcase for him in this. I felt like Shibata winning, fine. Like no problem with that. He's Shibata. But I appreciated that this was a different side of Alex Reynolds than we normally get to see.
Yeah, he was showing off a little bit more of this grappling, going more on the mat with Shibata. So it was cool to see him in this role. I just want to ask him: is he the new Diamond Dallas Page? Because how long is his ribs going to be taped up? It's going on to Diamond Dallas Page levels because it's already been a month. Bang. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Shibata because they've been using him more often as of late on ROH TV. That makes me think, especially considering that we get the announcement for the Pure Championship next week, that we probably can get the winner of that facing Shibata for the Pure title at Final Battle.
I agree. I think that'll be one to keep your eye on. I feel like they are running a little bit dry on things to do with Shibata other than have him sniff around the Pure title. But at the same time, whenever I see those matches, I'm always blown away. So it just feels like the right guy in the right type of match whenever Shibata's in them. But I can't wait to see that either. And I also can't wait to see Alex Reynolds' yoga program when that's ready to come out. So that'll if you have the DDP ribs taped up, you gotta have the yoga program ready to go. Right behind it.
Dark yoga.
Perfect. I love it. No shade at DDP yoga, by the way. I got my ass in gear over the pandemic. I was looking good when I was doing that. So I need to probably get back to my DDP yoga, honestly. But we move along to Waves and Curls, who lose to JD Drake and who?
Beef!
Yeah, beef.
I didn't know what I needed on a Thursday night with some beef, waves, and curls.
There you go. We do even get a little a short-lived but very important to wrestling dance break in this. Very, very fun. Waves and Curls. I would love to see Waves and Curls get signed if ROH does inevitably get TV here, but they take the pinfall here with that assisted Beef Brigade. Beef is really pushing hard to be like, look, if you're the friend of a second cousin to me, you're a second cousin in my eyes. So I appreciate this. I'm so glad to see JD Drake back, man. Like he's so great. And the Workhorsemen have just had such a tough year of injuries. And then JD Drake, or I'm sorry, Andy Henry getting released and then coming back, obviously. Like it's been a wild 2024 for them. I hope in 2025 they have a ton of success in health because they deserve it. I love that tag team, but I know you love some beef, and I love Beef and JD Drake together. Why not? Let's do it. Let's have some fun. What did you think of the match that we got here? This was one of the things on the card that was just, I was like, this is just kind of fun. This is just kind of fun to watch.
Well, cousin, I love watching a match where I just smile. The whole time. That's what this match was, especially the ending with that big backsplash against the ropes that Beef does, and then the Meat Brigade as they or the Beef Brigade as they called it on commentary here. Shout outs to Daddy Magic who calls it the Kentucky Meat Shower. But Beef Brigade, I think, is better for the sponsors and the ad reads. But I like Beef and JD Drake together. I think the long term of this is going to be a Beef, JD Drake, and Anthony Henry when he's healthy, finally becoming a trio of cousins and going after the trios championships and saving them from the dastardly heels of Dustin Rhodes and the Van Eriks, who never show up on this show. Chris Jericho shows up more on this show than the Von Eriks. How dare them? How dare them call themselves Ring of Honor champions? Beef deserves a championship, and he's coming for the 6-man tag team titles.
One of them is Van injured, so we have to be aware of that. But like, they need to do something then with the 6-man title. So
I would think if someone's injured, whether it be on WWE, you said earlier, Fightful Select, the best $5 in the game, had an update on Jade Cargill, the legitimacy of her injury. She's a champion in WWE. Can't have Bianca out here looking kind of funny with tag team titles, but I only see one of y'all. And then you got over here with the Von Eriks, if one of them is injured for 6 months. It's time to strip them of the 6-man tag team title. You already went, it's been 2 months since the title defense. This usually stripped. Where's JJ Dillon? Where's Nick Bockwinkel? If this was WCW, they'd be stripped of this damn titles by now.
You know, it was kind of hurt that you just didn't. You kind of no-sold my Von Injured thing. I thought that was very clever to me. But if you're going to bring it back with the Nick Bockwinkel reference, I can't be mad. I can't hate on that at all. So, yeah, I mean, the other thing is like Dustin already has a different title. So apologies to the Von Erichs, but like it's going to be okay if we strip you of these titles. You'll get back. You'll get back. And Dustin Rhodes already has a whole other thing to do. So we move on to something that was fun, but man, did this just feel way too long to you? We have, as Luis, our great moderator, calls them, the total nonstop arseholes, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh, with Karen Jarrett and Sanjay Dutt there as well for an ad for a future Black Machismo action figure, which I gotta say, Jay Lethal has an incredible impression of Macho Man there. But QT Marshall interrupts and he says, hey, I've been all over Sports Center. I sold out the Prudential Center. I've been on Fallon. I've been all over the place. I'm taking the wrestling world by storm. If you want to get back on ROH, who better to fight? And Jay Lethal says he has his eyes on a bigger fish. And it took me not that long to summarize that. It felt like it took 10 minutes for the segment to happen. I don't know why it felt like it went on so long. I did actually like how it was people kind of naturally entering and exiting a room. Like, it was a very easy setup, but it just felt very long to me. I don't know. But I actually think QT Marshall deserves way more credit than he gets for some of the work that he does. He's incredible at getting audience reactions. He carried Big Justice, or I'm sorry, AJ. Big Justice is the little guy, right? I always get him confused.
He sold that spear. He sold that spear like
he sold that spear. Justice was up on the top rope, man, and QT is helping him out in that match. I think he deserves way more credit than he gets personally, but I like that they capitalized on that momentum a little bit. This was good stuff, but this was a very long segment to ultimately say that Jay Lethal has said thanks but no thanks to QT Marshall's request to come back to ROH. Like it felt long. It felt long.
It did. But I wouldn't mind this as a final battle match. Like when I saw it taking shape, as soon as I saw QT Marshall, I was like, look at that. 2 Ring of Honor legends going face to face. Because people might not know, but QT Marshall, I first discovered him in Ring of Honor.
There you go.
A Ring of Honor original. So back in the Hammerstein, I was there. I've seen him live in Hammerstein Ballroom. So I want to see him again. I want him to sell out Hammerstein Ballroom. The man who single-handedly sold out Prudential Center is now going to verse Jay Lethal in New York City final battle. But I am interested in who the aforementioned bigger fish is. Is it Mark Briscoe? Is it someone else? I mean, I would say when you say bigger fish and it's AEW roster, I would be like Bryan Danielson. But we know that Bryan is out with the neck injury and stuff like that. Ooh, Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe would be a good one. Samoa Joe would be a great shot. That would be a fun place for him to return. I really thought he was going to do that on Dynamite because Hook just looked like an idiot. He was like, surely there will not be a numbers game here as I come out to the ring. I was like, oh, great, Samoa Joe's coming back. And then just nobody ran him off. Hook is just stupid, apparently. But
I was like, Hook, you don't got no friends? You've been hanging out with every Tom, Dick, and Harry on the AEW roster.
Orange Cassidy, Shibata.
Shibata. Danhausen. Like, you can't find one of these guys to have your back against the patriarchy? I was like, he got no friends. Security don't like him. The referees don't like him. What are we doing?
His dad doesn't even care enough to come back from his knee surgery, man. That's just flapping in the wind out there. I was like, oh, sick, Samoa Joe. And then he just never came back. So, but I'll tell you something that's really good, SP3. You're not going to believe this. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this. I'm putting together the rundown. And it didn't say a bunch of people with Trish Adora. It said Trish Adora with a bunch of people with Shane Taylor and Carlie Bravo and Shawn Dean and Lee Moriarty. versus Rachael Ellering, what was a fantastic match and kind of proved the thing that I've been saying on here, that Trish Adora should be wrestling regularly because she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and she should be in title contention because she's excellent. And her and Rachael Ellering, I thought this was super, super fun. Rachael was great in this too. Larry Tubman for the win for Trish Adora, but like every time they let her wrestle, which is once every 2 months for some reason, I'm like, she's great. Like she's just an excellent pro wrestler. Everything about her is fun to watch. Her energy, the way she moves in the ring, the way she tells stories. From the second she steps out from behind the curtain to the second she walks back, I love what I'm seeing from her. So this was good. Rachael Ellering was a fun opponent from her. I think kind of similar in size and strength, and not always the case for both of them facing other women. More so in ROH. Like there's a lot of women that are kind of more athletic statures, and even when you're facing someone like Layla Hirsch, because her wrestling ability and moveset is not like high flyer or whatever, like I feel like the matchups are more believable and competitive a lot of times. But this was great. Keep Trish Adora wrestling. It's really not rocket science. She's great. You can make a bunch of money with her. She's fantastic. She's a huge star. Like, I don't know why they don't treat her like one, but that's what she is. So, and we're going to talk about this Harley Cameron segment in a minute, because this was a loss that aided what's coming up next for Rachael Ellering. I always feel like the measure of a really good or a great match is, did the win mean something and did the loss mean something? In this case, we got both. So this is all W's for me. What did you think?
Yeah, this was probably the best segment of the night, because it was the one thing that I always ask for on this show is matches I don't know the winner to automatically upon seeing it. And this was a rare case of that with Rachael Ellering, who has been featured in God and Squash wins in the past on Ring of Honor TV, and Trish Adora, who, yes, is freshly kind of in a heel faction with Shane Taylor Promotions, but she so rarely ever wins. Yeah. I had no type of way to believe that this was going to be a win for her. So I went in with just not knowing who was going to get the victory here, which made me more engaged on who was going to get the win. In the end, it was Lariat Tubman that picked up the victory for Trish Adora, and I really loved how she's kind of fully embraced her heel role. Like, she's talking trash in the matchup. She's like calling out the different moves she's doing. She's like, yeah, y'all seen that before. And then she does the submission. She's like, I know y'all seen this before. Like, it was just fun. It's fun kind of seeing her kind of like just get into the whole type of different character that she's playing now that she's in Shane Taylor Promotions. So I love saying that through this matchup. Rock solid bout from both ladies. And yes, I do agree. I like the fact that Trish Adora gets momentum coming out of it, as well as Shane Taylor Promotions. And she's got all the momentum in Shane Taylor Promotions, because we're going to talk about what happened in the main event. And then the loser of the matchup, Rachael Ellering, they kind of touched on it on commentary, her whole story and friendship, partnership, rivalry with Harley Cameron. It's been fun to watch with the backstage segments that they do.
Well, Rachael Ellering does take the loss, but the good news is she is not a banana and she's not a thumbs up, but she still is the top dog around here. This is just, I am so like pleasantly surprised and blown away by the rise of Harley Cameron this year. Like, it is nuts. Of all the people that I thought might be like breakout star, whatever, Harley Cameron, I actually thought she was the best part of QTV when that was a thing. But my goodness, like a minute maximizer every time she's on screen, and pretty damn good in the ring, especially considering how few matches she's had. It's really unreal. But Lexi Nair interviewing Rachael Ellering, but they get interrupted by Harley, who wants to give a trophy to Rachael, and she first hands her a thumbs up and says, no, that's for Orange Cassidy. And then she pulls out a banana and is like, that's for later, or whatever, says something inappropriate. That's so delightful.
She did say, that's for later.
Yeah, it was something along those lines. It was fantastic. But she finally pulls out a top dog trophy, and she goes to give it to Rachael, and it turns out it's super glued to her hand, so she can't quite give it to her. just in the same way that like a Chelsea Green or when Bunny was around or Carmella is another one where you're just like, they just maximize every minute that they're given. Harley Cameron has whatever gene that is. She's been raised in that same way. So I loved this. And I also actually thought Rachael Ellering did a great job in this too, because I can't imagine standing next to Harley and not cracking up. So the fact that she was able to and play her role as the straight woman in this, I thought was pretty impressive, to be real. But there is a huge hug that happens where Lexi Nair gets smooshed by both of them. But Rachael Ellering also doing a nice job, kind of like, I see what you're doing, Harley. You're well-intentioned, and I appreciate what you're going for, even though you're very weird, even though you're very odd. But really good stuff. This was an effective segment, and I like that it contextualized Rachel's loss, too, as or should I say Reh, because she's so Reh. Yeah.
Reh. She's just, Harley Cameron is just somebody that even, like, I know people that don't like a lot of AEW, but they like Harley Cameron. Like, that's the type of, like, she just has that entertainment factor. She knows she has a boatload of charisma, and no matter what amount of time they give her, it could be 90 seconds or 9 minutes, she's going to make the most of it, going to make it entertaining. I've very much enjoyed her mini feud with Thunder Rosa on Collision and Rampage, and I think we're going to see her grow more, and I want to see her get more reps on ROH because she's so far ahead of everybody else as far as a character, and then she just needs to catch up in the ring.
Yeah, and she ain't bad, especially considering how few reps she's had. But let me throw this at you as like an ROH thing, okay? A lot of us have been asking for women's tag titles that float, right?
Yeah.
As an initial inaugural program, like Harley Cameron and Reh versus Harley Graham and who? Like who do you think tags with Harley Graham? Because I feel like obviously we have to get that, right?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. You just read my mind.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to team with a fellow luchador. A luchador.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we've had, what was it? Reina Ices from CMLL over here. We've had La Cantalina. We've had Zezusis, a fellow mass luchadora who knows exactly the experiences that Harley Graham, growing up on the mean streets of Tijuana, she was trained by El Generico, and they came up in the business together. She was one of the orphans that El Generico helped raise after he left the wrestling business. So, I mean, I want to see Harley Graham in this tag team dream match at Final Battle.
Yeah, right at Final Battle. Yeah, I think we should do that. It feels like it would be a star-making performance for both Harley Graham and Harley Cameron.
Two totally
different people, similar in stature, I will say. I can understand the confusion, but they're definitely not the same person. So.
And they share the same first name, but Christian Cage and Brian Cage have the same last name, and nobody confuses them.
The amount of Cages and Pages that were around this place. I mean, come on now. How many wrestlers have just been named like Mike or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, stop.
And no one ever says, "Oh, they look the same." Like, that's ridiculous.
Come on, man.
There's key differences. Harley Graham has a mask.
Yeah. First of all, like completely different. Yeah. Has a mask.
I don't think I need to add anything else.
No. But look at them side by side and tell me they're the same person. Come on now.
Exactly. So you get it.
Get it. There's a reason. There's a reason we host together. I love my job. Guys, get in those super chats. Leave a thumbs up on this video. We do have the TNA post show hopping on the other side of this. We were off for Thanksgiving, so thank you for hanging out with us as we return, working toward Final Battle here. We are, and SP3 is finding out about this on air, so here you go. But we're going to have Kimmy Sokol also join us on December 19th. She is so fantastic, and she's going to exit wrestling media to focus more on the convention and the agent side of things. And we're so happy and so proud of her, but we're not going to just let her go without forcing her to be on this channel again. Okay. I'm not kidding. This is exactly how I messaged her about it. I said, look, you probably know about the Top Golf game that Shawn is worse than Kimmy Sokol, who I think is 23 and the size of Thumbelina. Okay, Shawn got his ass kicked by Kimmy. I said, look, the algorithm favors people that are good at Top Golf, and Fightful Channel is going to be cooked if you don't come on here because Shawn does so much content. And he's terrible at Top Golf. So we need our last hope is Kimmy coming on the show. So we're going to have her on to talk about ROH. Very passionate about it like I am and like SP3 is. We'll do some predictions and have some fun with her before she is smarter than all of us and leaves this game for good. So God bless her for that.
She got out at the right time.
A wise woman, way smarter than me at the young age that she's at. But I know she'll be incensed about this because she was not happy about the learning tree and Matt Cardona either. Now, this isn't Cardona shade. This is much more the booking of the program that they have here, right? But the learning tree comes out. They're hosting a new edition of TV Time, which guess what? Also sucks. And they announced their challenger for the world title at Final Battle at the mythical Hammerstein Ballroom. And Jericho says he's got something special, saying he would face someone from New York City, but didn't know who would be willing to face him, and gets interrupted by former TV digital media champion, IC champion, NWA World Heavyweight Champion, GCW World Champion Matt Cardona. And Jericho says he's about to call Cardona Zack Ryder, but Cardona responds saying that Zack is dead and that he was going to be taking the title before flipping his hat in this. So I just wish that people on the show would fight for the world championship and that the people with the world championship would be on the show. That's all. That's my biggest complaint about this. Yes, I feel like it's a main event that doesn't really fit in with the ROH spirit, but at its core, the thing that annoys me about it the most is that I just want people who are on the show to fight for the title on the show, and I want the people that have that title to be on the show.
I mean, these are fair. These are fair.
I don't think I'm asking that much, SP3.
Yeah, these are fair criticisms because it can be changed. It's not like a complaint where a complaint can be addressed, but these are criticisms that can be changed, and they just choose not to. The segment itself, it was a Chris Jericho segment. I said on our AEW review earlier today, I was like, the New York Minute. I was like, that was the amount of Jericho I could take on that show. I was like, that was the best Jericho segment in months because it only was a minute. But once we went past the minute mark on this, I was just like,
nah.
I feel bad I said that earlier. Cardona did make it much better because I really like Matt Cardona. I got to interview him on In the Reads. I think that he's had one of the best kind of post WWE runs. Like, I think that people like in a couple of years are going to talk about his post WWE run the way they talk about Drew McIntyre leaving the company, the way they talk about Cody Rhodes leaving the company. They're going to talk about Matt Cardona in that way. But because I have watched him since he left WWE, I was like, how is this guy the babyface? Yeah. I was like, this guy is one of the best heels in the business. How is he the babyface for the ROH World Championship at Final Battle? First time back in Hammerstein Ballroom, New York City? You gotta be kidding me. Like I said, me personally, I know Kate feels different, but me personally, I would be fine with Cardona if Mark Briscoe was still the champion. And I think Kate would be fine with it if Mark Briscoe was still the champion and showing up on this show. But I don't understand why we have this match that the last time we saw it was on 2016 WWE Raw when Chris Jericho was feuding with AJ Styles. Yes, that was the last time Chris Jericho and Matt Cardona were in the ring together. It was a mid-card match on an episode of Monday Night Raw during the Vince McMahon era 8 years ago. And now, 8 years later, Hammerstein Ballroom, that's our main event? with 2024 Chris Jericho?
The other
Most
thing,
overrated Chris Jericho?
I really feel like in these situations, they've gotten bailed out by the in-ring, and I don't think that's going to happen with this one.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Because the key difference with all the other times they've done special guest comes in to face them, they've had people that have connections to Ring of Honor.
Yes.
That can deliver a great matchup. Case in point, Roderick Strong against Mark Briscoe
Perfect.
at Death Before Dishonor. The Eddie and Mark Briscoe thing, that was kind of like a make good because Mark was supposed to get the title shot the year prior. You were never able to do that. But like any other time you've brought in a special guest, it's been someone connected to Ring of Honor. Last Final Battle had Bryan Danielson's last Ring of Honor matchup in that 6-man with the BCC versus FTR and Mark Briscoe. And this year, the special guest is Matt Cardona.
I can't believe we had Bryan Danielson and FTR at the last one. And this year, this year
in Hammerstein Ballroom. Like this is the issue. It's like a compound issue. You have your issue of the champions not showing up, and the challenger who just shows up gets the title shot. That's not really a story, and they've done this way too many times. My issue is more of Chris Jericho being the champion in general. And what are you doing facing another guy who's a former WWE star? No matter, or you could consider him a GCW star. Like, I don't see him anything. There's nothing relating to Ring of Honor involved in this matchup. That's my main issue here. And then there's also the compound issue of this would have been fine if this was in Texas, like last year's Final Battle. You want to do it in a 10,000 seat building where only half of the arena's full, and you want to do that, Matt Cardona and Chris Jericho, that's perfectly fine. You ain't going to come back to my Hammerstein Ballroom and give me no goddamn Zack Ryder versus Chris Jericho.
The reason our background changed was I was looking for a clip that we have of when Reg was on the show, where he has one where he says, funny guy, Tony Khan, funny guy. And then he also has one that just said, boo, tomato, tomato, tomato. And I was looking for those. But you know what I did come across is this Fightful Select promo right here.
I'm going to need $5 from each one of you right now. Do you know?
The only GCW star I would have accepted as Chris
I was
Jericho.
just going to say, if we're opening up to GCW's best, at least we got a drop toe hold out of Shawn. We got this chat from Cody. Thank you so much. Saying, let Cardona win and defend the title on GCW. It won't change the ROH product at all, and it might get more eyes on the product. Just burn it down. Just burn it down. Here's my alternative is have somebody that's on ROH get some wins and then tell a story and then have a title match and have Jericho lose it. For example, this is a wild thought. You know how nobody likes the learning tree? Like nobody? Mm-hmm. You could have the younger guys who are supposed to be the things that are like the people that are getting over in this, right? Say that they feel stuck in the Jericho vortex for real and start to pick up some wins in ROH. And you could have Big Bill beat Jericho. Just as an example.
That would work.
Or Brian Keith.
Or Brian Keith. I'll accept Brian Keith.
Or my
Brian
left
Keith
pinky toe. I'm so ugh.
I'll take any of these young stars, please.
The Dark Order cut a promo before John Silver comes out of nowhere. And he says that he stole GYV's robes. So, you know what? You keep people from eating cake. This is your comeuppance. You get your robes stolen. So, I could sign up for a GYV Dark Order program. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I think that would be a lot of fun. Silver and Reynolds versus Drake and Gibson. That would be a good match.
That would be very, very fun. Gates of Agony are here, and they defeat Preston, Vance, and Griff Garrison with the Open the Gates. Gates of Agony really emphasizing, like, hey, we're getting a lot of wins. So I think they will be in line for a title shot. I would love it if the Righteous won and their first defense was against Gates of Agony. That could be like a very fun way to go about business.
I'm hoping they tape some matches on that Christmas Collision in Hammerstein.
Yes.
I'm hoping they tape matches for the following weeks of Ring of Honor TV.
Raphael saying Harley Graham's tag partner La Generica is the sister of El Generico.
La Generica.
I love it. Guys, we're coming down the home stretch. Get in your super chats. We've got Joel and I think Cresta on the other end of this show. Joel seems to be broadcasting from the library, which is just fun. So he's going to read you a story. It's going to be better than the one that TNA is telling.
Is he like Lori Beth from All That? He's that librarian.
Joel Pearl Dinberg. Yep. Quiet. This is a library. Legend. We've got Billie Starkz and Lady Frost with a stacked pin. Billie getting the win. Great to see Lady Frost. She's always excellent. She's been wrestling all over the world. If you're wondering why she hasn't been on ROH, she's been a little bit of an international traveler, the cold one. But obviously Billie's going to win. We're building toward a pretty well and long told story here. So they're not going to be derailing that with Billie getting losses if Athena's not causing them in some way here. But decent enough match. What did you think?
This was fine. I thought that Billie worked really well in this one and showing more of kind of just being a competitive instead of kind of like the cocky heel that she had been being in like her previous couple of matches. So I like seeing like the fighting spirit from her a bit and then getting the win by being the better wrestler. That was good for her as well. But I think like the big moment that we've been asking for, that I've been pleading for, it's going to happen exactly when I said it was, because I said they're probably not going to make this match official until like 2 weeks before.
Yes. Which that one I'm a little more okay with because they've been telling the story for like 100 years. So if you don't want to make it official until a couple weeks before, that's fine by me. But we do have a vignette recap of the Sons of Texas and the Righteous. And then we get the announcement that the Sons of Texas will be defending those ROH tag title belts against the Righteous at a Texas bull rope match, which will be so fun and really nice that they're continuing because Dutch went so far out of his way to talk about the bell there. It's nice that is paying off in this way. Like if you bring up Dusty Rhodes, you should probably be paying it off, and they are. So some good stuff there.
This is arguably, if not for Athena and Billie, this is arguably the best built match going into Final Battle because they've spent like the past month and a half building to it. The good promo work from the Righteous. Righteous have been on a winning streak. They've been targeting the backstage attack, the attacks after the matchup. They've been really doing a good job of building to this. It feels like the first real rivalry the Sons of Texas have had since they won the titles.
I agree with that. And it's also the only one that has these three elements. A story told to it. Seeds of doubt about who might win. And what I think will be very, very good in-ring to accompany it. So like Athena and Billie, I'm pretty confident about what way that's going to go. They could postpone it and wait till TV. But like I think it's probably Billie's moment unless the Wrestle Dynasty tournament is throwing a wrench in that and they want Athena to lose on that first TV. I feel like the men's singles title certainly doesn't have any sort of story with it. Like, I think that was proven tonight. So, and the trios titles don't really exist. So this is probably the one. The pure title, we'll give it a run for its money though, I think. For sure. Guys, coming down the home stretch, getting those final super chats. Leave a thumbs up on this video. Hey, you guys want to hear my SP3 impression? Oh, hey, we have this throwback match. I was there. I was there for this. I was there for this one at Hammerstein Ballroom. I'm SP3. I was sitting there while I watched all these legends in their prime in this promotion. La 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 la. Aren't you jealous, Kate? Is what I'm really saying, but I have it tied up in all of these fun words that talk about like I'm authentically speaking to my experience, but really what I'm doing is making Kate stew with jealousy under her skin and making her blood boil and make her want to cry.
Make her want to cry. Damn. Damn. But yes, I was there live for Final Battle.
Oh, were you?
I was there live for Final Battle 2008. The Nigel McGuinness Naramichi Marufuji matchup that happened on this show, the throwback matchup, was not the main event of that show. This show was main evented by Bryan Danielson versus Takeshi Morishima in a fight without honor, the blow off to their 1.5-year long rivalry. And it was also the show that opened with Kenny Omega versus Claudio Castagnoli in the opener, which I had mentioned to Kenny Omega when I met him in 2018.
Oh my God. Oh, if you look on the ground, I think you dropped some names there, so you might just want to.
Let me get that.
You're gonna want to grab some of those names you dropped. Truly an incredible match, and Marufuji was not someone that I got into kind of until more recently. And when I watch it, I'm like, I see how much influence he's had on modern wrestling. Like Will Ospreay has not been quiet about that at all. But it is impressive when you see Marufuji in his prime and how many wrestlers you can trace their roots back to stuff that Marufuji's done. So this match was incredible. What's so funny with some of these throwback matches is the commentary. A lot of times, I think the ones that Caprice and Ian overdub are the ones that had like commentary that would be like cancelable in current states. Yeah. This commentary was just so generic. It was just like, and there is a match going on, and one of these guys is a champion. Like it was so generic, but it was all fine. It was all fine. Really cool to see them do a Hammerstein match in the throwback. Like they're getting better about how they tie these in.
Yep.
Closing out here, we get this Matt Taven promo backstage saying that he was not patient before he revealed that he would be facing Lee Moriarty next week. These past couple of weeks of Taven promos are some of his better work, honestly. Like I've enjoyed them. They're a little more grounded, and I feel like him not being tied to Mike Bennett for them has been a good thing. Great news, by the way, Maria Kanellis cancer-free. So happy for that family. Wonderful news that she's been on quite the health journey. So some good stuff there, but are you excited for this? I'm actually kind of excited to see Matt because my qualms with him are never his in-ring ability.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was kind of disappointed because I wanted this for Final Battle as well. I really
understandable
to get that Final Battle stage, and especially because I feel like Taven with like guys like a Jay Lethal, a Dalton Castle were kind of the last stars built during the last era of Ring of Honor in Hammerstein Ballroom. I would have loved for him to get that opportunity there. He still may get it on the card, but I think the story that they've been building with him trying to complete his whole kind of title catalog with the Pure Championship, I think would have been nice to go into the pay-per-view and would have gave us another match that has been pretty well built over the last couple of weeks. But I'm fine with it going down next week. Next week feels like one of the better built episodes of Ring of Honor in quite some time, with the 4-way qualifier as well as this matchup. Like Taven's promo here, whenever Taven has something to sink his teeth into, it's always for the better.
We are going to close out with this match. Joel is having some technical issues on the back end, so we're going to let him sort those out, and we'll make Cresta come on here and talk to us in a minute if he's not ready, because she looks too beautiful to not have on screen. It's ridiculous. But we've got Top Flight, Action Andretti, Dante Martin, and Darius Martin with Layla Gray. For God knows what reason, beating STP here. Shane Taylor, Shawn Dean, and Carlie Bravo with the frog splash from Dante onto Bravo. Literally none of this makes sense if you watched AEW Dynamite last night. It makes no sense that Shane Taylor keeps calling for title shots that he is and then loses. Like, it is never granted. It makes no sense that a faction that they basically told us was breaking up yesterday is perfectly fine here today. And it seems like Action Andretti is still going his own way on all this. But at the same time, like, this is a regression from what we saw 24 hours ago. What did you think of our main event? I hated the booking. I loved the in-ring. A lot of fun in-ring.
Yeah, this was a fun main event in the ring. I also don't agree with the finish to this matchup. I also wanted to bring up, for some people that probably forget, Infantry did start a rivalry with Top Flight during the Arlington taping.
Yes.
Or was that just a blur in my mind? Because a lot of
that was the thing. That was the thing.
A lot of stuff AEW and ROH does, they want to pretend like it would. No, that just happened in your mind. We're gonna move on. We're not gonna bring it up. We'll bring it up. We'll have the match later, but we won't address that part of it. Okay, all right. I didn't see it. Poof, it's gone. But it was nice to kind of follow up on that, even though there was no real kind of follow up on that. But it just didn't make sense for Top Flight to get the victory here, because the whole story they've been telling with Top Flight is that they've been losing matches. Action Andretti is getting frustrated with that. So is Lio Rush. So now they're gonna get together and they're gonna fight Top Flight. That's literally what happened in the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal, aka the most telegraphed Battle Royal in modern wrestling history. And then we get this show here where Andretti's on the same page with Top Flight. They get the win over the Infantry and Shane Taylor promotion, who challenged the Trios champions for the titles like 3 weeks ago, and now they're losing.
Yeah. That has all been bad. Like, the Battle Royal yesterday was bad, and then this made no sense in congruent to the bad Battle Royal. The Battle Royal, we'll call it.
The Battle Royal.
Meet Normus, who rules, says, hello, bruvs. Going to Dynamite in 2 weeks. Should be meaty. ROH seems like they're trying again. Guess I'll keep Honor Club for a bit longer. Bye, y'all. Thank you so much for your chat. I will say the pay-per-views always show out. There's very few of them, but they always show out, and they're included in the price of your Honor Club. So if you have Honor Club now, you might as well keep it for a little bit. I'm intrigued to see what happens with Honor Club once they get a TV deal. If this just goes to Max as more content, they've wanted more content. So if it's like they're on True TV and then the library lives on Max, I think that's a real possibility. Are you excited overall for Final Battle?
I'm excited for some of the matches. I'm excited for ROH to be back in Hammerstein, but I can't say I'm excited for the card just yet. That may change next Thursday when they officially announce Athena and Billie Starkz, the rematch at Final Battle. So, because then we got a real main event. But for right now, with just Matt Cardona and Jericho, and then the other couple of matches, can't say I'm that excited. But I am excited for the weekend at the Hammerstein Ballroom with AEW and ROH being there. So fingers crossed, I'll be there.
Agreed. We're going to bring on, I think Joel is set to come on, and Cresta she's a professional, so she's prepared and ready to rock and roll. But I'll let you guys add yourselves, especially since Joel's been having some audio difficulties back there. Look at you. Look at this eyeshadow game.
Look at that.
My God, Joel's eyeshadow. No, I'm just...
Come on, Joel. That's what was really taking long, not the vocal difficulties, but the eyeshadow.
It's true. You have a wine encyclopedia behind you, Joel.
I do. I should probably buy a box of wine right now just to get through the issues I've had.
You know, it's funny
Joel,
when we...
Did you just get done sleeping on, laying on a couch and talking about your feelings?
That's crazy.
He looks like he's in a therapist's office.
Is my name Jack Harwood, SP3?
Well, I had said when we got on the show that I had done a BattleBot stream earlier, and I saw SP3 had his True Heel Heat stream earlier. And then here we are, because we're not running from the grind. Joel will put in library hours because he's not running from the grind either. That's how much he's committed to this game. And Cresta, of course, in her mansion over there as usual. But
Sounds
how
good.
was TNA tonight?
There's a special next Friday.
You
Yeah,
just got done with a thing.
That doesn't count.
Boy,
That doesn't
did we
count.
ever.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
So this was a Fallout and a go home show? No, next
No,
Friday.
next week's
You still
the
have
go
another
home.
episode.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
a show right before the pay-per-view.
Oh.
And it's so
Don't
funny
worry.
that you're talking about Hammerstein Ballroom because Cresta Star may or may not be going to that ROH.
Oh, hey.
Look at her.
Hey. Well, we will see you there. Absolutely.
I might also go.
Oh, look at that!
It's a
The
Fightful
Thursday
reunion!
post-show!
The whole
Yes.
squad up in
Squad.
Hammerstein. I love it.
I love this
love
match. Are
it.
we gonna have a hardcore
SP3.
match?
Yeah, we are. We are. SP3,
It'll be a New
are you
York
hosting-
street fight.
Are
The
you
Canadian's
hosting in
gonna
the
lose.
tomorrow
He's
with
too
Jeremy?
nice. Sorry.
Am I what?
Are you hosting in the Weeds with Jeremy tomorrow?
I wasn't aware.
It looks like you are now,
Congratulations, you're
pal.
hosting tomorrow.
We're live, pal.
We're live, pal.
If I'm doing the show from here, you know that I'm not actually like doing other work.
Fair.
How much I'm committed to the game by
That's
taking
fair.
out the main show that I do on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday.
I can also hop on tomorrow if you need it, but
Oh, talk to Jeremy. He'd love to have you.
Look at that. Look at that.
yeah, I'll text him. But we'll get out of here and let you get underway. I know we're a little bit behind because someone other than me had technical difficulties.
Brother, let me tell you. Hey, by the way, before you guys go, are you ready to complete your mission?
What's our mission?
What's that?
Well, Joe Hendry, he's here to complete his mission.
If
Yeah.
his mission was interrupting everybody's Spotify Wrapped, I think he completed the mission already. There were so many people that were like, I was just trying to get that dude to #1 on the chart, so he interrupted my Spotify Wrapped. I
Get
love
excited,
it.
everyone. Get
I
excited.
love it.
Joe Hendry's here to complete his mission.
Wait,
Not
are you
finish
saying
the
he's a
story.
man on a mission?
I'm saying he is trying to finish his story by completing his mission.
Oh, okay. That's his version. Complete
That's
the
his
mission.
version.
I mean, if your mind is in the gutter when you hear that, then maybe look inward. Go to the garbage chute. He's just trying to complete. Listen, one of those is trademark, Joel.
I can't wait for Vin Diesel to show up and try to take his Bound for Glory main event spot. It's gonna be great. Later,
Vin-
guys.
Bye.
Not Vin Diesel. I'm Joel Pearl tonight, guys.
Can I switch this over, or is my computer going to completely crash?
Nah, it's all good. I'll see if I could do it for you.
There
Hey,
we go.
friendship is magic. I got you home, Skillet.
You're the best. I appreciate you. Hi, Cresta.
Hi, Joel. I see that the library's got you, gal.
I love this library. I don't love what my computer and my AirPods and everything else is doing to my sanity at the library.
I will say this, Cresta Star has notes. She's locked in, ready to load it. If you need me to lead, if you have to leave, the TNA show will get discussed tonight on Fightful.
My God, someone's got to do it.
I mean, somebody's got to do it, and God damn it, I love Impact Wrestling.
Really? Which one of us? Shall we?
I'm ready. I'm telling AJ Francis what you said now.
Hey, I love it. I love AJ Francis. He knows. I appreciate the hell out of AJ for many reasons. Anyway, shall we?
Yes, God.
And a 1 and a 2. Hello, friends. We're back again. Hey, it's Fightful.com, and it's time for your TNA Impact post show, December 5th, 2024. We march on to Final Resolution because that's next Friday. That's right. We're already on the road to another special because for those who missed out, there was one this past Friday. No, we didn't do a post show. Why not? Because the most surprising thing that happened was Cresta Star's with me as always, so it's always fun to see her. How you doing, Cresta?
I'm doing fantastic. I had a good time. We were saying that we weren't going to do a post show for the show at WrestleCade, and it's funny. We were like, unless there's news coming out of it, and the news that came out of it involves a question. You know, you guys are smart enough to figure that out. The wrestler's name is a question. Just like someone completing their mission.
I like the one who completes his mission. The other one, hopefully, won't be seen again. But just a word to the wise, and we'll talk about Turning Point here and there. If you're at a convention where, I don't know, you can throw a rock into a crowd and hit a wrestler, if you hit that wrestler again, throw another rock.
I have learned that as much as I enjoy professional wrestling, a lot of people don't care. And that's horrible. And I think that if you are a convention where there are other wrestlers there, like Joel said, let that rock skip. You know, like when you skip rocks on the water?
Mm-hmm.
Let the rock skip.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have called Joe Pro. He would have did a run and he would have did it for free.
AJ Francis was there.
Come on now.
I
And he
like
already
AJ
knows the
Francis.
storyline.
And he already knows the storyline. He's not the one to complete his mission. That's somebody else. We'll talk about that. There were so many options for you. But either way, we're going to talk about tonight's TNA Impact. And of course, like I said, Final Resolutions next Friday. Will we do a post show? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. Who knows? We'll talk about that a little later. But also, if you want to get in on the conversation, you can go ahead and you can donate a super chat, any match question or statement right on the air. Of course, you can subscribe to our website. You can go to this channel right here. This is Fightful, youtube.com/Fightful, and hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you know all the times we're live or post videos. Tons of great stuff going up. Interviews with Steve Macklin. There's one with the former Cameron Grimes, now known as Trevor Lee, out on the Indies. He's working MLW tonight. What else is going on? There's another Steve Macklin interview over on FightfulSelect.com. That's an exclusive one, so go check that out as well. That's $5 in the business, and you can gift your memberships now over on that Patreon platform. So if you're wanting to give, I don't know, your favorite person a Fightful Select membership for the holidays, that's $5 in the business. Gift one to Cresta. Gift 50 to Cresta. I don't care.
I'll gift them. I'll re-gift them. I'll rehome your subs to the thirsty wrestling nerds that I know so they can stop asking me and get it from the sauce.
Well, speaking of sauce, let's get right into it.
Let's do
Kushida
it.
is the number one contendership for the X Division Championship. Kushida defeats Trent 7, JDC, Leon Slater, and Ace Austin. I will say right off the bat, this was a fun match. I love that Ace Austin's being worked into singles despite, Chris Bay being out of action and unavailable for the next little while. I like that Ace is still being made to be a big-time player, especially in the X Division. Leon Slater is who he is. We talk about him all the time. He is next up. And of course, there's the stuff with Trent 7 trying to, solidify him as a mid-card heel. But Kushida getting the win here. He's going to face Moose at Final Resolution. What do you think of the match, or what do you think about Kushida being the number one contender for that title?
This was a lovely X Division match, and I am thoroughly impressed with Leon Slater. Superficially, his gear, his pants were doing it tonight. I love those little dragon things he had going on. A nice, obviously, purple is one of my favorite colors. The yoink that JDC did to Leon Slater in the beginning of that match when he went to go up and over the ropes for, I guess, a moonsault somersault. JDC, that was a perfect heel move. This entire match there was another moment with the top rope armbar on Ace Austin from Kushida, and then Leon Slater breaks it up with a like an Allen Iverson splash. That is so fantastic. And I feel like a Leon Slater later on down the line versus a Moose would be quite interesting. And I would love to see that. It'd be very sports entertaining. Kushida winning this match, Kushida versus Moose. I expect Moose. I expect Moose to abuse this man just a touch. But I also expect Kushida to break his arm, figuratively speaking. That match for an X Division match is going to be interesting. But I can't wait to see how that turns out. Moose versus Kushida, how's that going to work? But I want to see how that turns out.
Moose can work with smaller guys. He always could. And I know that the match with Kushida is going to be a lot of fun. It's on a short build, so they don't have to do much. They just have to say Kushida is an international star. Moose is Moose. He's a former world champion. He's the current X Division champion. The story's easy enough. You don't really need much to build here. I really think Leon Slater, like I said, he remains up next, maybe as early as Genesis, because they're like Slater was involved with the tapings. He clearly had a match, at the Fayetteville tapings, and he's going to be competing next week. They announced in the tag match with the Laredo Kid. Feels like they're starting to, make the build for Leon Slater. I personally would love for Moose to make Leon Slater. That opportunity is there. And everyone else who's in the field from tonight's match, they all have some sort of pedigree in wrestling of their own. But Leon's the next one, in my opinion. Your thoughts?
I agree 100% with that, especially in like the X division. In the X division, period. He fits right in seamlessly. He reminds me of Kushida's partner, Kevin Knight. Like
Kevin
those
Knight.
two, like just dynamic. And I think that if Moose in the situation, let's say Moose stays X Division champion, he defeats Kushida. I would love for in a situation going forward where it's Slater versus Moose, and like you say, Moose puts him over, and Slater would be the perfect guy. Like I don't blink twice when I think about Leon Slater in the X Division. Like he's shades of Ali, he's shades of Kushida. You fit right in. I'm not worried about it. I think he would be an excellent champion, and it'd be a defining moment beating the face of the franchise like Moose.
I love that you brought up Kevin Knight, because I was trying to remember who's that one guy that Moose had such excellent chemistry with. Yeah, it was Kevin Knight. And actually, so I did an interview with Kevin Knight along with Jeremy Lambert on In the Weeds, the other show that we host. And we asked Kevin about his experience working with Moose and the matches they had, because they were such standouts. And Kevin Knight was like over the moon about working with Moose and the chemistry that they had. And also the ties back to Center Stage, because Kevin Knight had his start with TNA at Center Stage in Atlanta. So don't know if that means anything, considering Knight and Kushida are tag team partners. I'd love to see a little tie in there, because Moose, Kushida, Center Stage, Kevin Knight, Kushida, Center Stage. Like, I'd love something there. I don't know if we will, but just thinking about all that, I think there's some good storytelling if Kevin Knight's available for something like that.
Yeah, Kevin Knight is one of those guys like I always wonder where he's at, and I'm like, no, that's a New Japan guy. He comes here sometimes.
Yeah. And and when we asked him about TNA, and he was kind of like, well, we're not really, like, he just said, like, I'm not booked with them right now. So there's no hard feelings. It's just he hasn't been shuffled into their plans, and he's doing really well over New Japan, and he's made a couple of appearances with Ring of Honor as well. So it's good to see a rising star, and I'm hoping that Leon Slater becomes that next rising star as well, because again, Moose and Slater have had some really good chemistry as well moving forward.
Agreed.
Let's get into the tag team match. PCO, Sami Callihan defeats the Good Hands. Not much to say here. PCO gets the assisted senton for the win. Good Hands came out, called Sami a dirty pig who hasn't showered in months. Accurate. PCO dresses like a child on Halloween. Also accurate. If you're going to be healed, at least be accurate. And these two gentlemen did their best. The big news here was the number 23 being teased on the screen at the end of the match. So I'm guessing PCO's next opponent is a horror thing. What do you think about all this? Who do you think 23 is going to be?
Sorry, I tried to hold that and I thought I could mute in time, but I'm a liar.
My God, you can do it. I believe in you.
Next time, I'm just going to let you guys let it the ASMR. PCO got new music. He got a new entrance that's not 20 minutes, so good for you.
He's had that for a few weeks.
And do I watch the products? Like, sometimes I joke and say I don't watch wrestling, but I feel like.
So here's the thing. This is every time people say, bring back Jim Johnston to write the WWE theme. And, usually Shawn gets that question, and Shawn will say, the man's in his 70s. Like, how many bangers does he have left? The last theme that he did was very famously PCO's first theme out of Ring of Honor when he did his TNA theme. They've changed that now. So I think we can finally put to bed the Jim Johnston can come back and write theme music. It's not to say that he can't still be a musician, but I think we're ready to move on. But yeah, PCO updated his music a few months ago, I think around Bound for Glory time.
Yeah. I also want to say too, and I'm hoping PCO's fine. I just felt he was moving a little sluggish. However, I did like, if they were masked, if this was part of the plan, then I was sports entertained and fooled. The assisted moonsault and the assisted powerbomb, I thought was fantastic. I thought those were both fantastic. But maybe there was a match. I didn't watch WrestleCade. I'll be real with you guys, as being fat, enjoying turkey and oxtails. Okay. But I enjoyed this match. Also, the number 23, I'm like Crazy Steve, Michael Jordan, Black Toe Roots. I don't know. Father Paul Mitchell. I don't know.
The 23. Some people in the chat are saying maybe it's Pentagon Jr. coming back to TNA. I don't hate that. Pentagon's going to be a free agent, leaving AEW very soon, and whether or not he goes straight to WWE is up in the air. So I'm sure WWE, if that is his plan, they probably wouldn't mind him going to TNA for a little while. They know how that works. On the other hand, there's a part of me that just thinks it's going to be Sami Callihan.
That'd be crazy. the ookie dookie double triple crumble cross. It's Matt Cardona.
I really think it's just going to be, AO saying in the chat, someone pointed out it could be the date January 23rd, which is also the first live Impact that they're doing in many years. So it could be that's going to be the reveal. I think it might just be Callahan.
I also thought it was a countdown. Because didn't it switch from 24 to 23 and then it just stayed on 23? Or did I make that up?
I don't think I saw that. I don't think I saw that. But if chat saw it differently, they'll let us know. I thought I just saw 23 and that was it. But maybe they saw what you saw. I don't know. But later on in the night, they run into Hammer Something. That's what I'm going to call them now. And they're going to have a match. Sami PCO versus Hammerstone and Jake Something next week. Hooray.
Sure. I don't know how to sure, because the way it was such a weird backstage. Was it you? No. Yeah, but I want to fight. Sure. But that was the second one in the night. Because the first one was AJ Francis. Hey, give me what I want. Yeah, Santino. Yeah. All right.
It just happened. I keep going back to the Sami thing. I really think that it's going to be Sami, and it's just going to be Sami as digital media champion. To me, works so much better than literally anyone else, because Sami's so online. Like his whole gimmick was the hacker in NXT, but then he comes in, and I think it would work. But again, the digital media champion is where it is. It's the low card. It's not important unless somebody like AJ Francis makes it important. Speaking of which, Nick Nemeth goes to cut a promo, says he had a good year, and in comes First Class. And it says, oh, you had a good year, but I've had a great year, and I want to cap it off with the TNA World title. And so Nemeth and Francis gets announced for Final Resolution. I think we have to talk about a couple of things. One, let's get our initial thoughts on the announcement of doing this match. Nemeth and Francis, Final Resolution, babyface, heel, pretty straightforward. Atlanta, last show of the year. What did you think when they made the announcement?
Have you ever played Skyrim, Joel?
No, not extensively.
All right. So then what I'm going to say may not make sense to you. But what in the speech level 100? The hell was this? What the hell was this? That was literally, I'm going to get a match. And everyone said, oh, no. Yes, actually. So I want to hate this, but this man, I watched someone get hustled in 4K. And I'm like, bro, this man's a genius. AJ Francis, I didn't like it. That was dirty, but you're a genius. I literally watched this man. I watched Nick Nemeth get talked into a circle, Santino come in, get confused, and book a match. What? I'm not mad. Get your money. Get it where you fit it. And also, shout out to Casey Navarro in the background, just the face like acting. That man was at cinema.
I love this. He abused the save file to get the outcome he wanted.
Yes. Like literally, I literally watched someone get hustled. Like literally, like. That's what I watched. I'm like, there's no way you're gonna fall for this. And Santino comes out and messes up everyone's names and says, I'm gonna book a match. This guy, to quote Nick Nemeth at the end of that promo, that match can't be real. That match can't be real. It can't be real.
So, okay. I know a lot of people were kind of expecting you and I to be annoyed about this, or even upset on the internet about this. I like AJ Francis. I like Nick Nemeth. I think they're both very good at what they do. Mm-hmm. Nemeth as a champion has been okay. AJ Francis as a performer, as a guy on the roster as a main attraction has been great. These two are going to be okay for what is another special 2 weeks after another special. It's fine. But we have to talk about JBL now. They did Nemeth versus Eddie Edwards at Turning Point. JBL came out again, took out Edwards again, and they still haven't talked about it. And they still haven't introduced JBL beyond this showing up and saving Nick Nemeth, and nobody talks to Nemeth about it, and Nemeth just keeps saying, I didn't know he was going to be there. And Santino continues to act like an idiot, and they're just not, there's no connective tissue, and they're not trying to be connecting the dots. And the reason why I think I'm more annoyed with this Cresta is because it's been since August, since literally the first title defense for Nick Nemeth. Every single time there's been a live defense, JBL has shown up. And there's only so long that people can wait to hear nothing until they just tell you something. And I've hit that wall.
So
With what are we doing here?
So as far as how I feel about AJ Francis and Nick Nemeth, I will always stress that me personally, I watch wrestling to be sports entertained. And anytime, once you understand a character's motivation, I think you'll enjoy it a lot more. I know AJ Francis is a weasel, and he's going to weasel himself into any situation. Now, I agree with you with what are we doing with Nick Nemeth and JBL? You've got to explain that. If AJ is the MacGuffin and you have JBL show up again and now you finally say something, I would respect that. But I'm getting to the point, like you said, where I'm beginning not to care. I'm like, okay, so JBL is Nick Nemeth's guardian angel. What are we doing here? But like, what's happening? I don't think I'm at that point yet, but I'm getting there. If by the end of this, if by January we still don't have an explanation, I'm gonna be like, yo, what's this APA? Get up out of here. It's time to go. I'm not too mad at the AJ Francis thing because this is what you do. Anyone could be the champion and you would finagle your way in there. I understand your character and Casey Navarro is going to follow you to the ends of the earth. That's fine. That's not offensive. That's well within the rights of wrestling. What's happening on the other end of it, like you said, with Nick Nemeth and JBL, as a fan, I'm waiting for an explanation. I want to give it the slow burn. I want to understand it. But there's nothing, not even breadcrumbs, not even a seed of maybe he might be just showing up or maybe Nick Nemeth is actually heel. I would like something, or else I don't want to get to apathy where I don't care.
I almost said apathy because they haven't done anything with it. They've given me some good matches on the undercard, and then they get to the Nemeth match, and it's like, why should I care? Because JBL is going to come in and muck the finish. Mm-hmm. There's no interest there. And is he going to do it in Atlanta at Center Stage? Is he going to do that at Final Resolution? This is all I want. If you do it at Final Resolution, I want JBL to either grab a microphone and say something afterwards, mm-hmm. or finally get this figured out, or for Nick Nemeth to finally turn heel, or for JBL to be at the taping the next night and do something. Because if this is just showing up for live shows and no taped appearances, we're really shooting ourselves in the foot moving forward. This can't go on past Genesis. It can't. And they've announced that there's a 4-way at Final Resolution, and the winner gets a world title shot at Genesis. It's Santana versus Josh Alexander versus Joe Hendry versus Steve Maclin. Preston, when I name you those 4 competitors, what's the first thing you think about?
Santana's going to win, and what are we doing with Joe Hendry?
I thought of that, and I also thought about Mike Santana, Joe Hendry, Steve Maclin. Babyface, 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 Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander is done in February. He's told Chris Van Vliet he's done February 15th, 14th, whichever it was. Nick Nemeth is still a babyface for all intents and purposes. So either Nick Nemeth has to turn heel before one of those other 3 men win, or Alexander's going to win, get the title shot at Genesis on the way out, and we're just biding our time while something else happens. Or they're going to do another babyface build, which you can do, but it's Santana's time. So I'm really like, where are we here?
I think, so let's say in a hypothetical world, you have this match coming up at Final Resolution, Francis versus Nemeth. For whatever reason, no, not whatever reason, JBL comes out because Casey Navarro is cheating. That's what I expect to happen. AJ Francis's character is enough of you, Santino, what's happening? This is the 80th time this old man has shown up. He's the type of character, whether you hate him or love him, who's going to shake it up and force a response from somebody. Either he work here or he don't, or I want a tag match between Nick Nemeth and JBL. Y'all, so if y'all not working together, y'all, somebody needs to say something, because you're not going to screw me, AJ Francis, out of this. I'm trying to screw you, so you're not going to do the doer. So I could see that happening too, because AJ, he's the type of person like, I'll slap you, and then when you try to hit me back, a teacher, he hit me, and I don't like that. So that's the only other way I could see it happening. But like you said, like if Alexander's on his way out, Alexander wins that. And I saw someone in chat saying they sacrificed Hendry's momentum for this. I low-key agree. So I feel like, what's the payoff for that? Now Hendry's just waiting in the wings. I feel like in 2024, this was his year. We could have did something with him. And I don't like it.
So now we have to come back to completing the mission. Tonight in the main event, Joe Hendry says he has to complete his mission. I made the joke during the crossover that this is like finishing the story. What happened to Cody Rhodes the first time he went after the World Championship?
Said his name was Job because they're calling him Job.
He lost at 39, and then he spent an entire year building himself back up to win it at WrestleMania 40. There's a possibility that Joe Hendry is going to go either all the way to Slammiversary, when this all started, him in the main event, or as far as Bound for Glory, when he finally wins a World Championship, as he's potentially out the door in 2025. Because that's what Finish the Story was. And if they're trying to recreate that with Joe Hendry, which, by the way, I would advise against, because we just did it and it was really well done. I don't know if we want to do this again on a lower scale.
That's scary.
But that's where we're at with Joe Hendry.
I mean, just on the surface level, complete the mission. I would expect that from Steve Macklin. Just character-wise. This has got to be some, finish the song lyric or whatever. There's something else there. I don't think complete the mission is really the way. There's nothing wrong with it. But then, like you said, it would have to be up to Slammiversary. That's one of their biggest ones, or Bound for Glory. That's one of the biggest shows of the year. But are we going to wait that long? Okay, I could take it, but give me hope. Give me hope, because right now you have them milling around, and that's kind of what's super frustrating about it. Joel, you are cutting out. It's giving the popcorn, and I'm hearing it too. I don't know if it's me. Yeah. Nah, it still happens. It's giving you the pop, 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 pop. Is it me?
Me?
Because I can't hear you at all, sir, now. What if I left and came back? Try to reconnect real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, now that Joel Pearl is away, let's talk about TNA wrestling. It's the Cresta Star Hostile Takeover. But no, we will keep it going. Just talking about Joe Hendry. I do agree with Joel that there is a possibility that we drag it on to the next pay-per-view. Let's just hope for the best. And look, Joel is back. He's back. Say something.
Is it better now?
Yes. I got the switch. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. Hell of a day.
Kate's internet got you.
Yes. It's bad. It's been a long week. Okay. Hendry, right? We're still on Hendry?
Mm-hmm. We were wrapping up our thoughts on Hendry and possibly doing something at Slammiversary, Bound for Glory 2025, and he's out the door.
Yes, the Slammiversary is going to be in New York at UBS Arena. They've announced that, and they're coming to LA. By the way, kudos to TNA for trying to do this whole like, hey fans, where should we come in 2025? And people voted. That's great, fan engagement. And then saying like, oh, we're going to do both. Fan service. Good for you, TNA. Wonderful stuff. I'm sitting here just being like, you're going to do both because you can't just win a poll and then call a venue and say, hey, are you available? It's just fun. Sorry,
I was goofing. I already signed the contract. We're gonna make everyone happy. Hey, I'm goofing.
So you know what? Good for them. The fan service works. It's funny stuff. They're gonna run UBS, and a lot of the immediate reaction was, how are they gonna fill the venue? And there's two sets. Okay, one, if you have someone like Mike Santana as your champion, he's a New Yorker, you hit them hard on the New York market, like you could do really well with ticket sales there. They did Detroit, they did 4,000 plus for that, and they also did 4,000 Montreal. Like it's not impossible. Keep in mind, this is also the company that ran the Alamo Dome in Texas in 2011, and people were like, what the frick are you doing? And really, they just ran like a quarter of the Alamo Dome. So anything can be scaled. It's just the use of the venue. So keep that in mind. They'd love a sellout of 20,000 plus, but honestly, I think if they're getting 4,000 or 5,000, maybe 6,000, 7,000, they'll be over the moon. And then they'll be in LA for Bound for Glory. So plenty of space to do it. Again, I'm still stuck on Santana as your guy, and maybe by Rebellion. Sorry, did I say Bound for Glory was in LA? I meant Rebellion. My bad. But maybe you'll have Hendry win it by middle of the year.
I mean, it's fine. I guess because we're all chomping at the bit of the year that Hendry had, we wanted like immediate wrestler response. Give it to me now. I want it now, yesterday. If the payoff is there, I can wait. And I live in New York. I'll go to the TNA. Also, I'll be in the front row yelling, lose my voice.
Well, we'll get you some tickets if you want. We know who to call. But that all in mind, it's not hard. But that being said, I don't know what it's going to be. People are saying, what if Hendry gets the shot at Genesis? Then they got to figure out the JBL story. Because
you
if
gonna screw Hendry
again? That's the thing. You can't do it twice. If JBL comes out in December, if he comes out next week, whoever gets the number one contendership has to call out Nemeth now and get the answer right away. What's going on with JBL? Mm-hmm. And then there's also Frankie Kazarian in the background. So oh
my God, I forgot about.
Well, that's how they won the main event tonight. Let's just get to that right now. The main event was Northern Armory and Frankie Kazarian. They won against Eric Young, Jonathan Gresham, Steve Macklin, Mike Santana. Hendry was on commentary. That's where the complete submission stuff was. Match was fine. There's not much to say other than Daniel Spencer is, again, a useless distraction of the referee. Gets distracted by Northern Armory, who are trying to break up Jonathan Gresham, who had the octopus on Josh Alexander. And then Kazarian comes in, uses the Call Your Shot trophy on Gresham, and allows Alexander to cover, get the win. There you go. By the way, Macklin versus Alexander at Turning Point, fantastic match. Go watch that if you haven't yet.
This main event, shenanigans. I don't like to agree with Joe when he be running down Daniel Spencer, but damn, Daniel Spencer, you was blind. Even the crowd was like, ref, you suck. Tonight was not your night, because I feel like you were reffing another match tonight, and they would let you have it. I mean, Eric Young got jumped. Steve Macklin got jumped in the ring. Like, if I'm the ref, I clearly hear a whole bunch of people stomping. And yeah, this match was full of cheating. Tonight was also full of cheating. Shout outs to the system. I don't have much to say outside of that. Besides the double crosshairs was cute, but he didn't hit them both because Travis Williams said, I'm not getting hit by that.
If you are at a TNA show, maybe next week, maybe in the future, and you see Daniel Spencer refereeing a match, you know what he looks like. I want you, the fan, to chant, pay attention.
That's crazy.
And that's how we know that you know. That's how we know. Pay attention.
I'll be cheering, and then I'll be beat up and tossed out the window.
Speaking of tossed into things, TNA World Tag Team titles ended a DQ finish, not because of the throwing into things, but because the Hardys defeat the system, because Alicia Edwards hits the Hardys with a kendo stick as the Hardys are setting up a table at ringside for some reason. And Santino Marella comes out afterwards and says there will be a tables match at Final Resolution for the tag titles. I guess it's an excuse for Jeff Hardy to do a top rope swanton onto a table. Okay, sure, do something crazy. I don't have much to say about this match because not much happened other than the beatdown to the DQ finish.
I was confused by the table situation, considering this was not a tables match and that was going to be a DQ if you guys did it. I'm also confused. Like, I'm not confused at the match at Final Resolution. I'm confused at the type of match. If this was caused by a DQ and you didn't like it, Santino, why not make it a cage match or bar this girl from ringside or bar the system? Yeah, because I'm not mad if you're going to keep the Hardys as champion because y'all in the Carolinas. That's their hometown. Listen, I ain't mad at you. But just make it make sense. Like, Alicia could just come out and cheat again. So why would you make it a no DQ match then? Why not just make it a cage match? I mean, the system will come out and cheat regardless. It just seems a little short-sighted.
I mean, if you've ever been to Center Stage in Atlanta, you'll notice that can't really hang a steel cage from that venue. You have to build the damn thing. But, you know.
I've never been to Atlanta.
Logistics aside.
I'm just saying, make it make sense. I'm not mad that not that they're forcing it, that they're making it continue. I'm upset that it doesn't make sense.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah, I have nothing else to add to this if you don't.
I don't. Moving on.
Gia Miller is backstage with Tasha Steelz earlier in the night. Said that they're both former Knockouts World Champions, her and Jordan Grace, her opponent tonight, and that she's a thorn in Tasha's side. And tonight she removes the thorn and something about Pettyville and a permanent residency for Jordan Grace. I know you like that.
I enjoy being petty, but I don't enjoy following through. I'll say sorry to get you to leave me alone.
Damn.
Like, I'm petty to a point, but then it's like, after I'm like, ugh, what do I have to do to make you leave me alone? I don't care. I cared like for 10 seconds. Now I'm hungry.
Well, unfortunately, you ain't going to eat because Alicia Edwards got involved again. Tasha Steelz defeats Jordan Grace. The crisis of conscience continues. Rosemary's watching from the rafters in the balcony. I thought Rosemary and Masha was going to be a Final Resolution match. Masha versus Rosemary might be a Genesis match.
I gotta tell you, I hated that Zoom. I was like, what are they panning to? And then you got her sitting in the rafters like the crow. I'm like, get it out of here. Get it. And then it was like the crash Zoom, but in reverse. But very slow. So I'm like, at one point they were like off center, real slow. So then it was like really awkward. And then it zoomed out, then you just saw the ropes. So I'm like, hey, yo, like, please. I don't know what exactly it brought to it, but also Alicia Edwards, bro, like, you're the worst. Do you want to know? That's why I'm really mad. I didn't hear that at all today. That's why I'm really mad. I didn't hear that at all today. Do you want to know something? I don't know. Something's got to be done about her. I love her boots, but, like, you can't keep interfering in everything. It makes sense why you did because Tasha's your girl, but you can't keep interfering with in everything. Something's got to be done.
So it's a good back and forth match. There's a cutter spot that's reversed to the crucifix by Jordan Grace to a pin. That's a near fall. And Steelz reverses the Shades of Samoa because Alicia Edwards gets involved, gets her feet on the ropes with Tasha Steelz. That's how she pins Jordan Grace. So it's a cheating leverage pin. And then post-match, Tasha Steelz and Alicia Edwards attack Jordan Grace. Masha Slamovich comes out and makes the save. Masha Tasha at Final Resolution. It's what it is. It's Masha Tasha.
Masha Tasha.
And it's Masha Tasha. And meanwhile, you had Alicia Edwards trying to beat up Masha and Jordan. And at one point she's like, don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. And Masha's just laughing at Alicia Edwards. That stuff is fantastic. I love it when Lish thinks she's so over the top.
Like, it's a love, like, what I feel for Alicia Edwards is like, this is what you want, your heel manager, valid. This is what you want. You're annoying in the best complimentary possible way. I want you to beat up Ash Violet for my sports entertainment. Nobody else's. Nobody else's.
Well, Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance are a little busy because Spitfire's upset. Jody's upset. She lost the match. Danny says this isn't the tag team wrestling they're supposed to dominate. Danny, versus Heather by Elegance next week. Spitfire's got to drop those tag titles at Final Resolution.
Wait, I thought Heather by the Elegance girls were. Wait, I'm so confused. Did they? I don't watch this show.
Spitfire has not yet dropped the tag titles.
I think there's something better for Spitfire to do, but it must continue.
Next week on the show, it's Leon Slater and Laredo Kid versus the Rascals, Rosemary versus Zaya Brookside, Hammer Something versus PCO Callihan, Heather by Elegance versus Danny Luna, First Class and Tasha Steele are going to team up. That's interesting. Against Joe Hendry, Nick Nemeth, and Masha Slamovich. It's going to be a fun show next week. That's the go home to Final Resolution, which is the next night, December 13th. That's Friday the 13th? My God.
Jason has on a snow mask. Dun, 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 dun.
Snowy here in Toronto. Is there anything else in the show that we missed? I don't think so. We did a pretty good dent on a lot of talking points.
Yeah, no, I feel like this show, respectfully, was just... See you next week, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into Impact Wrestling. My name is Big Cresta Star. This is Mad Matthew Variel. Thank you so much. It was a fine show. I never am disappointed in the wrestling. You know what I mean? But as far as things to sink your teeth into, we hit the 23 with PCO, the cheating from Alicia Edwards. We're professionals, Joel. They'll have you think differently.
Well, I mean, after tonight, I don't know if I'm so professional using these cans and this setup. Wasn't great. Sorry, folks. I'll be on better next time. Cresta Star, where can the people find you? What you got going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's always fun to see you here. I'm here every Thursday and every Saturday, even though I haven't been here because of the holiday seasons. But I go over TNA with Joel Pearl on Thursday. Saturday, we go over the AEW Collision Post Show with Rick and Iridian. And you know what? Tonight, after this stream, I'm going to be live on my Twitch channel. We're going to play some video games and talk wrestling because I do stream wrestling stuff over on twitch.tv/CrestaStar and TikTok.com/@CrestaStar. I'm on Blue Sky too. Anywhere you could type Cresta Star. We don't promote that other Muskrat app because to the dust. But yeah, after the stream, maybe like 10, 20 minutes, I'm going to go play some games. We're going to talk Vince McMahon documentary. I finally watched it. I'm late to the party. Joe Pearl, what you got going on? Where can the folks find you? Not in the weeds tomorrow.
I won't be on the weeds tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be on Monday. Spoiler alert, my mom's in town. So when my mother comes to visit, I try to spend time with my family. So that's what I'm doing. And also she takes the room that happens to be my office. So that's our guest room / office space. So I won't be on in the weeds tomorrow. Sorry, folks. I wasn't on this past Wednesday because I was sick. So whatever, not important. I'll be back. Okay. TNA post show got my post haircut because I didn't show my face the last few days. Okay. But normally I'm in the weeds. Wow, I'm done. In the weeds Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern on Cycle Over Bucks. Toss a like on this video, please, for the love of God. Make me feel better. Say nice things in the comments. I'll have my microphone back next time. For Cresta Star, I'm at Joel Pearl. JOELPEARL. Find me on the non-X related social medias, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Bye.